Good morning, I'm Dan with Service Rental. We're going to go over some stump grinders that we've got, the selection, different uses and whatnot. And this prequel video will be followed up by some running time on all four of these units so you can see kind of the differences. But I'm going to describe to you now what we've kind of got new here and going on. To start off with this 28-inch, this is a high flow grinder. Is probably going to be arguably the most productive thing that we've got. As you see in the operation video, it can take down a pretty good stump fast. One advantage to this is stumps don't necessarily have to be cut off low to the ground. It'll take out one that's been broken over. Obviously, the less there is to do, the faster it's going to be. But it's easy to use. Like I said, it is a high flow unit. Doesn't have to be on anything bigger than 75 horse, but it does have to be high flow. That is what the motor's set up on this for. Like I said, this is more of a conventional style stump grinder, grinds on the front, and you use the loader functions to operate it. Moving on to the next thing we've got here. This is something that's kind of new to the market. I say new, it's been around a few years, but it's more of a screw type cutter. It's got a pilot on it, screws right down into a stump. This is going to be very productive as far as cutting a stump out. Some of the advantages to this is going to be you're not going to have the chips flying everywhere. If you were in an area that was a concern, which it's, may always be a concern, but anyhow, this is going to be a lot slower. This turns at a lower RPM. And when I say slower, it doesn't mean it's not going to be productive. You just start it in the top of the stump and it screws down in it, chews it out. You're not going to end up with a loam that you would with that, but you're going to remove large stumps very quickly with something like this. It's also high flow. As you can see, it's a big heavy unit. This rig weighs in at about 2,000 pounds. It really is going to need to be on a 95, 9700 horse track loader to handle the weight of it, and it needs to be high flow, as I said, to use it. Moving on to this one, it's not unlike what we started out with over there. It's the same size, a 28-inch cutter, but this doesn't have the same drive motor on it. This is set up for a lower flow application. And right now we've got it set up on a KX057 Kubota excavator, Mini X. The unit track loader weighs in at about 13,000 pounds. So that gives you an idea of the size, that you're dealing with here, what it's going to take to run it. The coupling is specific. We would rent this by itself, but you would need either a KX057 or an 040 Kubota. Both have the same quick coupler on them. There might be another model or two out there, but it is pretty specific to what the quick coupling is going to be, unlike the skid steer attachments. Haven't actually run this one yet. There again, we're going to do some videos following this up on it actually running. One of the main advantages to this, other than if you had excavator work to do, you could do that and grind stumps, is going to be if you had stumps on the side of a hill, stumps in a place that were hard to get to. You've got the reach to get out there and work up a hill or down a hill on something, grind it out with that, get in between trees that you might find more difficult with a track loader. And then moving on to what has been our most popular and probably will remain to be the smallest thing we've got. These are great units. There's nothing any of those do that this won't do. It's time. This is a good unit. We've got several of them. It's 23 horsepower, hydraulically driven, the hydraulic sweep on it. Cutter head is about 14 inches on it. It would be ideal for small stumps where you're moving through a lot of, when I say small, this size or smaller, it would be the ideal choice of all three of these if you had multiples of those to do. You can do as big a stump as you can imagine, but you can spend hours on a stump that's, let's just say, 3 foot around. Let's go to the extreme. You could spend, 2 hours working it down. You need to have your stump cut as low as possible to the ground with it, because it just doesn't have the power of something like that, like these others. But of course, one other thing we want to get into is this is much smaller, much less to it. You can pick it up with most anything. We put it on a little 5x8 trailer, haul it out and drive in your backyard. They are great units. I don't want to short sell them, but the productivity is going to take longer with this than some of these other units. Back just to recap over that and to touch on what I just said there with that, the weight on these machines, if you don't have your own carrier, which is here and there, if you're talking about getting one of these or thinking about getting one of these bigger units, you're going to need at bare minimum a 3/4 ton truck to haul one of these. We do have trailers that we can rent that's capable of haul units of these size, but you're talking about in the neighborhood of 14 to 15,000 pounds gross that you'd be towing. Obviously we offer delivery too, but those are all other factors to keep into consideration. With power comes weight and vice versa. So like I said, that's just what I call a quick overview of the different grinders that we're offering now. As far as pricing, refer to our website. It's always current. Prices don't change very often, but the website updates every day. So like I said, keep on watching and we'll follow this up with some videos of all these running.